Hey guys, Huzzy here bringing you another video. Now today we are watching a Challenger Spectate, and I will say, if this is a main video of the day, apologies. Unfortunately, the other day I had a really bad recording session, and obviously I don't want to push it with everything going on at the moment. But I love these, and a lot of people are like, Huz, we want educational stuff. These are the most educational videos I think I make, so hopefully you enjoy. But today we're watching a Vladimir. Now Vladimir is in that kind of pool of champions that a lot of people are calling out like, dude, where are the nerfs for this champion? And by the way, for like months, people have been calling that. And it's been the kind of like the Basham brothers, really. It's been Vladimir and Kassadin are the two that are like, people are like, Riot's just ignoring them. And again, worth noting, the reason why Riot ignores these type of champions, from what we know, is because it doesn't fit in their data to nerf it. So they'll kind of, Riot, I don't know, like, love them or hate them. I love Riot a lot, but Riot have a weird thing that sometimes they listen to the player base about things, and that's fantastic. But there are other instances that are like, nope, we have the data that completely contradicts everything the player base is saying. And it's like, eh? So, yeah, like sometimes they'll have data that shows Vladimir is perfectly fine, or Kassadin is perfectly fine. But everybody, you know, in the higher ratings are like, Riot, please. Like, I don't know. It's just the way that it goes. But watching Magi Faker today, which I believe is Magi Felix. If you don't know who this player is, we've done plenty of commentaries on this guy before. This is the guy that currently is in roughly the top 20, 25 Challenger EU West right now, maybe even top 10. But this is the guy that has had multiple accounts in Challenger at the same time, and I think actually a few in the top 10 at the same time. Maybe 2 or 3 accounts in the top 10. Maybe a year or two ago. So obviously, insane player. I do think he's part of some professional organization, definitely now. Again, with that kind of, you know, solo queue prowess, and he's not a one trick. He's he's actually a mid laner, but this game is playing top. That does, you know, you're a very good player if you can do that. So it's not surprising. A lot of people have always asked me, Huz, how do you get into pro play? The general principle is you probably really shouldn't think about pro play at all unless you're challenger in your region. And that is the truth of it. If you can't get challenger in your region, there's no pro organization that's ever going to look at you, because there's no point. Why would they look at you if you're in platinum? One, you're not good enough to be pro, but secondly, there's already challenger players that they'll be looking at. You know, they're going to look at them. So that's just the number one thing. Get challenger. Meanwhile, there's a lot of stuff happening in bot side. But the matchup itself, Vladimir versus Fiora. Fiora going aggressive. What is this matchup like? It's a bit crazy, I'd say. So Vladimir does go aggressive. Fiora is definitely in trouble here. Vladimir, not the greatest flash, but does get the kill in the end. So Fiora definitely mucked up there, taking a bit too much damage in the earlier trade. And then, yeah, committing a little bit too deep. So I will say it is rare for a Vladimir to get a kill that early, but he did. You can see the Fiora not very happy about that, buying a double Doran's. Why would you buy double Doran's? Again, the idea of it is it's a stronger early game. The actual... For the gold you're spending on a Doran's Blade or a Doran's Shield, whatever it may be, meanwhile teleport has happened by the Vladimir. Not sure anything massive is going to happen in this instance, if I'm honest. And so yeah, not the greatest teleport at all. So that is a bit of a waste, and that will help the Fiora recover, by the way, because she's going to have free minion waves here without getting harassed. But yeah, it's for the stats, for the money that you're spending on a Doran's Blade, you're getting actually a lot of good stats from it. But obviously the negative of it is it doesn't build into anything. So it's like you're kind of investing to make the Doran's Blade work. But if you manage to get a kill with buying another Doran's Blade, well then it's kind of even. If you get 2 kills from buying 2 Doran's Blades, well then your investment is definitely paid off. Meanwhile, the Vladimir getting a little bit caught. A little bit, I don't know, what's the right word? Cocky, to just think that he can walk from literally bot lane straight back to top without anybody kind of stopping him. I'm not even sure this is going to be great for Vladimir. He is legitimately returning to top side on about a third health. That's not great. So if you actually look at the gold right now, even though the Vladimir got the early first blood kill, etc., Fiora has just evened up the gold. So that whole play that Vladimir just made, and yeah, he's going to get a bit of gold here from this farm, obviously, but he should have had a bigger lead by now. But that whole teleport play was not very good. And I'd say the general principle about, like, Huz, when do I teleport? We've had that a few times. If you're on a champion that you can, you know, basically guarantee your involvement with an early teleport, I'd say go for it. Vladimir is definitely not one of those champions. You know, you don't bring any CC, your slow is a little bit hard to land, you've got to be on top of people. So, and you're also a mid to late game scaling champion. So I'd say, in essence, if you're playing something like Vladimir, I'd honestly ignore most teleports to go bot side, because what you just saw there is likely to happen most of the time. But if you're playing something like Shen, that you've got a taunt, yeah, an early teleport isn't that bad. Meanwhile, Fiora takes a tower hit, which isn't very good. That does actually equalize the health situation, and obviously Vladimir does heal. Naturally, Fiora heals quite a lot too. And what would be interesting to me is these are two of the most heavy healing champions in League of Legends, Vladimir and Fiora. Do both of them buy anti-healing, or do neither of them buy anti-healing? That's the kind of, like, it's the weird thing. But it's like, if Fiora buys anti-healing, that might make the Vladimir go, all right, you're buying anti-healing, I'm buying anti-healing. So a big level 6 fight happening right now. Vladimir pops his ultimate a little bit early. Fiora definitely on the back foot, but does still have her ultimate available, by the way. And Vladimir will just back out on that. Worth noting, like, that type of fight isn't that bad, because what that gives, meanwhile, the pings are going mental right now. What that gives is lane pressure. The Vladimir, from his ultimate, is now healed a lot. The Fiora is obviously lower health as well. So, in essence, for the Fiora to try and get a lot of this farm, she's going to have to either risk it and get all in to buy the Vlad again, take a lot more health, or she'll have to go all in. And obviously, she might be able to go all in because Vladimir doesn't have ult, but that was obviously quite a large risk. So yeah, that's why whenever you're using your ultimate, yeah, you want the aim obviously in League is to get, you know, kill the enemy and make them not be able to farm at all, but pressure is also a massive thing that a lot of people don't think. That Vladimir ultimate gave him pressure, and he is going to go back now. He's probably got a pretty decent amount of gold to spend, and obviously Fiora does maintain the gold lead early, but the pressure was good. It gave Vladimir 2 minion waves for free. Then it's also going to give him this base for free. Fiora is staying in topside. She's going to probably push it in before she goes back. And meanwhile, the Yasuo in mid does go down. Item build for the Vladimir, by the way, complete cooldown reduction build. This is very standard on Vladimir because you're trying to maximize how much you can use your abilities. Funny that's what cooldown reduction does. But why? Well, when this is a sustained battle in top lane, you'll probably watch the Fiora, get Tiamat, then be building into the Ravenous Hydra, then probably into Death's Dance. It's a lot of healing both of these champions are going to have. Like, worth noting, the Fiora does a lot of healing already with 2 Doran's Blades. That is 6% lifesteal she has already got. So the Vlad needs to sustain, and the best way that Vladimir is ever going to sustain is just spamming his Q all the time. So cooldown reduction, rush. You know, he went for the Kingle gem early, which gives him survivability because it gives him health. And obviously then he's going for the Phoenix Codex, which also is ability power and health. Worth also noting, Vladimir's passive, a lot of people also forget about. Every 40 points of health, Vladimir gives 1 ability power. And every 1 point of ability power, Vladimir gains 1.4 health. So right now, for the ability power that Vladimir's got, he's getting 80 more health. For the health that Vladimir's got, he's getting a bonus 6.5 ability power. So that's why building the Kingle and the Codex together is actually benefiting you probably a lot more than finishing one of these items straight away. There are we've always kind of said it, splitting your item build is normally not a very good idea, but there are some champions that benefit from it. Vladimir is definitely one of them, at least in the early game. Meanwhile, Gragas is definitely on the back foot here to the Fiora going all in with her ultimate. Weirdly, Vladimir hasn't reacted straight away. Fiora, again, looking for that little aggressive play. Level 5 Gragas. Enemy team might be rotating, which they are. It's an Akali. Gragas, I don't know why he went left. I do have to say that. Fiora, you can see how aggressive she is being. Gragas doesn't do enough damage, but Vladimir flashes, gets the kill, but that does give the kill to the Akali. Now the Yasuo is 1 level down. Do not think there's a kill on here, if I'm honest. Yasuo doesn't even ultimate. He missed his ultimate. He ignited, but he didn't ult. Unless he's going to look for the ultimate here, which he's going to. He misses the Q. That's not great from the Yasuo, if we're honest. Again, don't know really whose favor that is. If we look into the gold, 3.1 versus 3.3. So it's very slightly in Vladimir's favor at this point in the game. And Yasuo will probably now back off. Akali did use everything, though, to get, I think that was a double kill, potentially. It was a double kill, which is good for the Akali. Again, still an insanely strong champion in the right hands. And that is the thing, in the right hands. So this is where there are some champions in League, which it's funny, but there's a massive divide in how strong is Akali, or how strong is this champion. If you don't personally think Akali is very strong, I will probably say you probably just haven't encountered a very good Akali. She's insane in the hands of a good player. And that's what the problem was when she first got reworked. she was legitimately overpowered because you didn't even have to be a good Akali to pull it off. There are some champions in League that should be very skillful to play. Akali is one of those, definitely, nowadays. But when she got released, she was just busted. You could just, like, smack your head on the keyboard and probably kill everything. Nowadays, you've got to be a lot better, because obviously they've nerfed her heavily. But she is still, in the hands of a good player, very scary. Meanwhile, top lane, nothing crazy's gone on. Item build, though, for the Vladimir. You can notice that he's bought some movement speed with his ability power now. Again, all about that utility. Is also going phase rush. Obviously, phase rush got buffed, so it's helped quite. I don't know. When in the patch note video, I do recall when I was like, oh, phase rush buffs. Who's that going to help? I think the phase rush buff was more for melee champions, if I do recall. So, yeah, but, like, it's always been good on Vladimir. Arguably, Conqueror Vladimir is also very good. Maybe even this matchup it would have been good, because obviously it is a sustained matchup. Akali gets another kill. Solo kill on the Yasuo, by the way. But he has gone for phase rush this game. And I'd say phase rush, very good if you're playing, let's say, Vladimir top or Ryze top, that some people still do. Very good phase rush versus melee champions. Funny that, because it's all about that movement speed. So you're noticing a pattern here. Fiora's going to W the empowered Q. Whenever the Fiora is looking a little bit too overextendy, the Vladimir just goes, he just pulls the trigger. He doesn't wait. He doesn't delay. He's pulling the trigger all the time. And I can guarantee right now, he's not thinking about getting a kill. Trust me, this Vladimir wants to scale, and he wants to, like, get as much farm as possible. You can see now the farm lead is now going to the Vladimir, which obviously earlier it didn't because the early teleport play wasn't very good. But he just wants pressure. He wants to slow down the Fiora. He wants to make her uncomfortable in a way. And, you know, going for these big ultimates is definitely going to do that. What it might also do, though, is potentially make him vulnerable if he mispositions. So if he slightly mispositions, goes a little bit too overextendy, you'll watch this Fiora go all in. But what you're seeing here, the phase rush procced, this is the benefit of it, is it's so much movement speed that the Fiora is really having a rough time. And in essence, the only way that the two ways that Fiora has to play this matchup, because she's currently not doing it very well. Either you practically have to ignore the Vladimir, and you have to focus on scaling as well. Fiora is an insane scaling 1v1 duelist. We made a video recently, Vladimir going for a teleport blind, by the way. He's going to pop up here. Does get not a kill, I don't think. Akali gets an unstoppable. There is also a Kha'Zix. Vladimir on the back foot. Yasuo doesn't get a kill. Vladimir versus Kha'Zix. What can they do? Fiora also teleported. Kha'Zix coming a little bit too deep. Fiora going all in. Maybe they can get a return kill. Can Vladimir get it? Nope. The Rakan misses W. So once again, not the best teleport from Vlad. I don't think he got anything in that situation. And I don't know if Fiora did either, but obviously sometimes when you're in top lane, you kind of feel, oh, if my opponent is teleporting, I have to teleport too. And you basically, yes, you both didn't get anything for your teleports, but the reason that you both didn't get anything, because you kind of cancelled each other out. The fight stopped because both top laners showed up. But yeah, so the way that Fiora should be playing it is either you practically ignore the Vladimir. That's what I've always said to people. If you're laying against a Teemo, just kind of forget that Teemo's in the lane. Your most picks, you'll probably beat him in 1v1 duels later. So just try to resist the urge of going all in. That's what a Teemo wants you to do. That's what this Vladimir wants you to do, is go all in, and then he can kind of poke you down and out-sustain you right now. So at least Fiora should try to get lifesteal before she tries to go for these kind of poke fights. Or she has to play all in. So those are the two. She either has to ignore the Vladimir and just kind of do your own thing and just try not to get poked out as much. Or go all in all the time. Those are the only two ways. She's kind of doing it half, like, both ways at the moment. That's not working very well. So Vladimir's item build, you can see component galore. And we did speak about earlier, Vladimir is one of the champions that can get away with buying components. Meanwhile, phase rush procs and gets his empowered Q. Fiora probably should have W'd that to avoid a big Q chunk. But yeah, so I'd imagine buying a Spellbinder with the item build. I'd guess. But we'll see, you know, whatever. Enemy team looking for a group situation. Pops the Rift Herald. Akali going to get more kills. Dragus now on the back foot. Double kill for the Akali. 8-0 is currently. Rift Herald is going to continue. Vladimir looking for a flank Aruni. But the very fed Akali is in his way. And now it kind of seems that the Vladimir didn't really notice. Don't think the Alistar's dead. Does actually die. That's surprising. And maybe did he not have... He didn't have ultimate up. for damage reduction. They are going to look aggressive. They do not get the knock-up. They should potentially rotate for the Kha'Zix, who is more caught into the enemy jungle, but he also will get away with the blasting cone, and the Fiora will meet him. They are now looking for the Akali. I'm not incredibly sure this is a good idea. Vladimir is sustaining a little bit, though, so let's see how this fight plays out. I'd imagine everybody is more or less going to just back away, if I had to guess. Weirdly, the red team is invading in the bot side. That's a pretty risky play for me. Infernal Dragon's coming up in 15. Red team should probably look to rush this. Nice knock-up after the blasting cone. Akali still a W up. Kha'Zix is in the area. But the good thing here is if they can make the enemy team go back, like stop them from getting to the dragon, they should be starting that pretty quick. Alistair gets a double knock-up. The E from Akali, I think, hits. She's going to go all in. Whoa! Follows the flash. Kalista goes down. Jesus Christ, Akali. And Rakan is now in the back foot. Gragas is doing the smart thing, and Yasuo's definitely should have gone over to help that a lot quicker. And now the dragon is going to be lost, I'd imagine. So definitely, instead of Yasuo farming that wave, while all this craziness was happening, they really should have done the dragon. So I do probably put that on the Yasuo's mistake there not to do it. Big fight in top side. Again, Vladimir once again coming out on top. Doesn't look like Fiora used her ultimate in that whole fight. So that is probably why there was a big, difference in the damage. And some people may say, like, does Fiora ever beat Vladimir in this? Yeah, she definitely can. She might have to play it pretty well, but like you no more kills, by the way, for Akali. She just has to play it near perfect. Like here, Vladimir's made a mistake, 100%. So Vladimir is dead. So I don't really know why Magi did that, but yeah, took a tower hit, potentially was slowed before he got his W off. Didn't have his ultimate, used it earlier. Fiora still had her ultimate, so that was overall a pretty bad play by Vlad. Maybe a bit of impatience. I want to try and snowball. I have to do something. The Akali is 11-0. I have to carry this game. There could be something to do with that on the line of thought, because, when there is an 11-0 Akali, you sometimes do feel a little bit more pressure. But the actual game itself, worth noting, the enemy team going for a little 2v2 skirmish to bot lane right here. The Kalista going to try and kite her way out. Xayah looking aggressive does get the kill, so that's not good. They're losing the 2v2 now. But in essence, the two lanes that have been kind of losing the game so far for red team it's jungle and mid. They're both 5 deaths already. Vlad's doing fine. Kalista's doing fine. Yes, they just lost that, but Kalista does have a 30 farm lead. They just got a little bit caught out then. So, in essence, like, the pressure that the Vladimir has of carrying the game is probably going up, and also the Kalista's there. So this is where also you've got to try and limit mistakes of, oh god, I got to carry this game. How the hell do we beat an 11-0 Akali who's now in top lane? Well, in essence, Vladimir needs more gold in order to beat the Akali. That is teleporting away, reminding people replays are still currently bugged. I can't do anything about it. Obviously, with what's going on, I don't imagine Riot fixing complete replays is at the top of their priority list at the moment. It's probably, making sure the game is still running and the servers aren't dying. Worth also noting, we did find out yesterday that Volibear is coming next month. When is it? Yeah, next month. I think he's coming in May. And that's not me kind of ruining my NDA with Riot. They said that in the latest Riot Please, I'm pretty sure. I think. And by the way, you can go look at the new Volibear model. It looks pretty cool. I think his legs look a bit weird, though. Right, so Akali, another double kill. Vladimir coming in the backside, does pop his ultimate with his W, with his phase rush. Will get killed, actually. They do get one kill, but this is obviously looking pretty grim for red team. And reminding people, Huzzy does replays for a reason. So stick with the replay. I have no idea what happens, but something must happen. So, by the way, Fiora does buy anti-healing finally, so that will slow down the Vladimir's everything, really. Some people have actually called for the, Grievous Wounds to be buffed. If you don't know what Grievous Wounds is, certain abilities in League, certain items in League apply Grievous Wounds. That restricts healing by, if I'm not mistaken, 40%. Some people think 40% healing. Meanwhile, the Kha'Zix gets caught. That's a nice pick by Gregors, actually. Some people think 40% healing isn't actually enough to counter some champions' healing. Like, if anybody has ever seen a pretty strong Draven at low health, but has got a Bloodthirster, like, practically just a Bloodthirster, within 2 or 3 Q auto attacks, he's got full health. Practically even with Grievous Wounds applied. So I don't know. I'm in the camp that if they buffed Grievous Wounds, like okay, it's now 60% nerf to healing. I think that's fine, by the way. I'm actually in the camp that I think League actually has too much healing. And worth noting, if you're wondering why did that happen, so there was an old designer who used to work on League called Morello. Some of you may remember him. There's an item named after him called Morello Nomicon. Now, some people may wonder, okay, why does the developer, and he was one of the lead devs, have an item named after him that is all about anti-healing? So Morello Nomicon is one of the items that gives Grievous Wounds. It reduces healing. Because Morello literally hated healing. Like, there was not much healing in the game when Morello was kind of in charge of balance. When Morello left, and I believe Morello now works... He either works on Valoran, or he works on one of the unannounced kind of projects that Riot's doing. When he left to go do something else, because, you know, developers get bored. They, you know, when you work on League for 6 odd years, you probably want to go do something else. Healing started to go up and up and up in League of Legends. It's noticeable. If you've been around for a while, like I have, it is noticeable that healing has made a massive return. I'm not a big fan of it, if I'm honest, because healing kind of feels counterproductive to skill. Oh, snap, I chunked in, and the AD carry auto-attacked twice. Oh, they're back to full health. Never mind. I don't know, that's just me. Anyway, Dragon is up. Big fight potentially going to break out. Nice stop by the Gragas there to avoid the Alistair combo. Rakan going for it. Oh, they get the pick on the Akali. 1,000 gold to the red team. I think the Yasuo got it. Now the enemy team is on a massive... Oh, double kill by Vladimir. They are so caught. It's unbelievable. They get, I think, near enough ace. The Kha'Zix does survive. They should be absolutely rushing. What are you doing, Kha'Zix? Oh, mamma mia. That now gives the enemy team... That gives red team Baron. So I told you, like, at a flip of a hat, these games can change. And what just happened there, in essence, is the principle of why, as one player, it's very hard to carry in League of Legends. So the Akali is done fantastic. That champion is nuts. But it doesn't matter how strong a champion is. It's always going to be hard to carry a game individually. If your team is not doing very well, you know, you have to keep carrying, in essence, unless they catch up. Akali's team hasn't caught up very well. She was 13-0. She got caught. She got killed without doing anything, but literally pretty much anything, and then the whole enemy team got ran over. That is, in essence, why it is rough to carry solo. And now, by the way, the Vladimir has also got his anti-healing. So there it is. There is Morello Nomicon, the item we were just talking about, named after the designer Morello. And you see there, unique passive, Curse Strike, magic damage dealt to champions, inflicts them with Grievous Wounds for 3 seconds. So anti-healing. But yeah, let me know what you think about healing. I do think there's too much of it, personally. And I would not mind at all if it got nerfed. So, or like healing get nerfed. Maybe Grievous Wounds get buffed. Because there is a big argument right now that apparently like too many mid laners buy Morello Nomicon when it's not really needed. I do agree with that. But potentially like Morello could be in essence buffed and made better if the Grievous Wounds passive of it was also made stronger. I definitely think there's an argument for that. Right, so red team now, momentum shift. They're still behind in kills. They're still behind in gold. But sometimes that doesn't matter. Enemy team now looking for a big play. Akali with a big buttload of damage is going to get 1 kill, is going to get 2 kill. And in essence, what just happened there is even though momentum should have been on red team's favor, red team got caught sleeping. They got caught 3 in mid. Obviously, the Vladimir survives because he's got good survival, but they got caught sleeping completely. Now, the Gragas is doing something really clever, I just want to point out. Why is Gragas here? Is he inting? No. So the Gragas was killing minion waves in mid lane. Why is that really clever? Well, considering you just killed the enemy bot lane and you just killed an inhib, you potentially could continue into the enemy base. There's an argument for it, but you can't do that if there's no minions. So that's really smart by Gragas. He might die for it, but it slows down the enemy team, which is really good. So if he can survive, fantastic. If he dies, I'd say overall still probably worth. Gragas is probably alive in this situation though. He probably could get away with a Baron base if he wanted to, and that now completely stops the play, which is good. But obviously that did give blue team an inhibitor, which obviously isn't something you genuinely want to give people when you potentially just got the momentum of the game with Baron. So that's pretty bad from the bots, the Kalista and the Rakan, to be honest. Again, very good combo, Kalista Rakan, in essence. You know, throw a Rakan in, you're giving him, you know, well, Rakan does that to himself anyway, but you're also allowing him to do it again. So you throw him in, he ults, he charms stuff, and then he can W onto other things again. Very, very good combo. Arguably one of the best combos probably for Kalista. Vladimir item build, by the way. So again, got his Spellbinder, got his Morello. Still, you know, from the beginning of the game, has still got these cooldown reduction components. Has not built them into anything. I'd imagine he's probably going to build one of them into something now. It would be kind of surprising if he doesn't, if I'm honest. They are now finally looking to use their Baron pressure, but obviously, unfortunately, they lost their mid inhibitor. So their Baron pressure right now could be completely wasted, because if the enemy team just decide, let's just go mid with super minions, red team have to stop. Like, you know they have to stop in this situation. And that's exactly what's happening. So yeah, they get a tier 2. That's not bad. But Fiora is now straight into the enemy base. Alistair's here as well. They're going to rotate down to bot side for this tier 2. Kallista's staying a bit too long, but does come back. So, I don't know, like, it's good to see Baron pressure is being used, but it's a bit risky. And oh my god, there's Vladimir. He is still not using, well, yeah, he's still not using his components. That will be most likely, I guess, for a death cap. Alright, so what can happen here? So the Gragas, very squishy, by the way. Full AP Gragas with not having a great game. It, you know, equals he can near enough get one shot by most things. I, by the way, do miss the days that Gragas was played either as an AP mid laner when he was legitimately balanced as an AP mid. I actually like that Gragas. He's not balanced to that anymore. Or I actually prefer tank Gragas in the jungle. I think he does offer a lot of utility as a tank. Good CC, good knock up and everything. Good disengage even. I'm not a massive fan of AP Gragas in jungle. I never have been. I don't know why. Alright, so Dragon is coming up again. We've spoke about it last episode. Whichever team gets the third Dragon is likely the one that's going to get the Dragon, because it's like they just need one more. That's it. So, but obviously if blue team get this Dragon, then it evens it up completely. Alright, what's going to happen? So last Dragon fight obviously went massively into red team's favour because they caught the Akali at the beginning of the fight. It looks like the Dragon is being done and red team is doing nothing about it. They don't want to risk it. Guys, forget about it. Why is that the case? Well, worth noting, like, scaling. Whoa, Alistair going for a full engage. That is questionable. They do catch the Yasuo. Akali coming in. Will they do anything? Akali's going to take a lot of damage. Yasuo ultimate coming through. Akali goes down in all the chaos. What are the enemy team doing? The enemy team get completely played in this situation, mainly because they just walked into the enemy team. Again, the Vladimir is really strong this game. The Kallista's got pretty good strength. You can't just randomly run into a Vladimir. Like, hello? Like, Vladimir is really strong, and the enemy team got aced for the second time. So Akali dies with her summoners up because she just got absolutely one-shot. And yeah, the Alistair went for a kind of crazy engage, but that wasn't just Alistair. They all literally just jumped in, and it looked like they jumped into basically a Vladimir full combo. That was really weird. So that, once again, does give the momentum shift to red team. They actually now even have the gold lead. Still not the kill lead, though. But as I was saying, red team in this game are probably perfectly fine with delaying the game a little bit. The reason why is the enemy team only has one strong person. So all red team has to do to win this game right now is look for a good fight. Doesn't even have to be a perfect fight, let's be honest. When I say good fight, it has to be a good fight around the Akali, which that fight just was. The previous Dragon fight was too. That when the enemy team just did Dragon, maybe they were like, we don't have vision of it. This might not be a perfect fight to get the Akali, so let's just back out. Let's give them the Dragon. It's not Dragon Soul. It doesn't mean that much. Just give it to them. But the next fight where the Akali just runs straight in, much better fight to kill the Akali. So then they'll go for it. Baron is now up, so I would imagine the blue team is starting to feel a little bit pressured in trying to win this game, if I'm honest. So I'd expect a Baron play is happening. Fiora is actually doing it. Vladimir goes all in on the Akali. Once again, Vladimir damage coming through. This should be a kill on Akali with the big ultimate. She does ult away. They should still... Okay, the Baron is being stopped, but that's already good. That slows them down. Even could give red team Baron pressure, potentially, if they really wanted it. Worth noting, Vladimir obviously is very good on Baron. Kalista, or Yasuo DPS on Baron is very high, but also Kalista is one of the best Baron killers in the game. She brings a smite with her Rend that is stronger than smite. With all the spears going into a Baron, she can get like a 3,000 smite that no jungler can match. So you're about to see it here. Can we see the damage number pop up any second? Whoa! Oh, wow, that's insane. So Kha'Zix nearly got a steal. The reason why he nearly got a steal, meanwhile Xayah and Kha'Zix died, is Rakan got the Baron. Rakan. Even though both junglers were there, even though there's a Kalista there. Meanwhile, they do catch with the vision. They are going to look for the Akali. She does go down. But yeah, the Rakan got it. That's kind of insane. Alistair's now caught out too. You can see the Vladimir's keeping his distance, basically just trying to maximize. And what you're seeing the Fiora do on the mini-map is the exact same thing that Gragas did earlier. She's kind of limiting the minions that are going to be here, which is, in essence, slows down the enemy's push. Really smart. What's happening? So Vladimir bases, then teleports. And I think they've lost the Alistair. Yep. They have somehow lost the Alistair completely. I have no idea where he is, but he's gone. Houdini, the cow, apparently. Right, so Vladimir takes blue buff, which is fine. I guess Gragas could have it, but Vladimir taking it as well isn't too bad. Item build for Vladimir is, yes, there is the completed death cap. So ability power, the Vladimir right now has 684 ability power. Trust me when I say, especially if he gets a good Spellbinder off for a bonus 100 ability power nearly, this Vladimir is doing a buttload of damage. Like, a lot of damage. And, you know, we said it like that. There's a 1,000 empowered Q, for example. We said earlier, like, there are some champions in the league that are too strong, etc. We spoke about it. Last video, we made one on Echo. And, like, is Echo actually overpowered? Is Vladimir too strong? Like, here's the weird thing. Vladimir is supposed to have a kind of weak early game. He's a mid to late game scaling champion, right? So in theory, he's pretty strong, pretty weak in the early game, which is relatively true. But this game, you did see a Vladimir get first blood on a Fiora. He's done pretty well the whole game, to be honest. But also, Vladimir, like Echo, and why I think that some of these champions are a little bit too strong for their own good, is he's incredibly safe. So even though his early game isn't the strongest, he's really safe. So he can usually get to a point in the game, as long as his team basically isn't inting, he usually can get to the point that he's really strong anyway when he's supposed to be a mid to late game jungler. Wow. Akali got one shot, and that will be the game, let's be honest. So enemy team is pushing in. Fiora also died solo to the Yasuo. Exhaust comes down, which slows the Vladimir. But that, in essence, will be the game overall. I can tell you from memory, the Vladimir did the most. Look at that damage! The Vladimir, boom. He just got a double kill straight away. Look at that. That's just insane damage. The Vladimir did the most damage in the game. But that is the question I will give you guys to end the video. Is Vladimir too strong for being as safe of a pick as he is? Like, are there really counter picks to Vladimir? Well, maybe, but like you as a Vladimir could like, I'm just going to play safe. I'm getting all in. Okay, I'm going to press W and I'm just going to, you know, swim away. I'm going to play passive. I'm just going to farm. I'm not going to fight them at all. I'm just going to sustain. You can do that on Vladimir and it's not that hard to do. And eventually you will get to a point that you can just kill everything. Is that too strong? That's what I'd be interested to know your opinions about. But that is going to be it. If you guys did enjoy, and by the way, he did finally pick up a Zhonya's with that Fiendish Codex, but his Kingle Gem was there the whole game. And if you're wondering, that would probably be a Spirit Visage, but he might even sell that to go more ability power, if I'm completely honest. But that is going to be it. If you guys did enjoy, throw a like on it, throw a subscribe, comment down below. See you guys next time. Peace.